Hey everybody, it's Christine with Cocoa Daisy, and I am really looking forward to sharing with you a bunch of fall themed stamps that I have, and to do some fun layering with some Halloween and some leaves and a lot of great sayings. So we're going to dive in. I'm going to show you all of the pretty colors that I'm using as well. And I wanted to start off by first showing you the stamp set. We have a number of stamp sets this month, actually. Let me go through them real quick. We have a great background stamp. This is in the creative kit. This fun little journaling block is in the deluxe journaling kit. This swatch set is in the planner kit. And then we have this 3x4 set in the scrapbooking kit. This one is our subscription stamp. This is a 4x6 stamp set, and this is our subscription one. And then this gorgeous Halloween one is in our Halloween kit, and this is by Paislee Press. So I want to start off. Let me show you the way that I am using this swatch stamp set. Now it comes with the 4 pieces. You have color details, the little ink bottle, the little color swatch here, and then the lines. So what that does, if you want, like I did here, I grouped them all together on one acrylic block. Makes it super easy to just stamp them all down at once. And this is the perfect companion to our little swatchlet booklet. So that will fit perfectly on here, and you can swatch your stamps or your fountain inks on these pages as well. So the pages come blank. They're a wonderful felt texture, and they're a little heavier so you don't get the bleed through, and you can stamp the image, excuse me, on there as well. But I wanted to show you what you can do. You can always stamp these separately. If you want to make your own swatches, you don't have to have the layout like this. You can do it next to it, which I've done as well, and I'll show you that in a minute. But you stamp that, and then you have the little, if you're doing inks, so I'm going to grab my melon here, and you just stamp that with some ink and swatch it right there, and then that gives you your stamped ink. And then you can write the details out below, the name of the company and the color, and put it on there. The other thing that you can do, and I'm going to do this with just a Q-tip to show you. I find it easier than trying to load pens, or I have a glass pen and it just doesn't work as well. But you can just swatch like that with your fountain inks, and then again just write in the details below. You can do that. If you have markers, you could totally do that with markers as well. So there's a lot of different ways that you can use this fun little swatch stamp set. You can see an example of what I mean by laying them out differently here, of what I did in my week's notebook. So I did this, the ink bottles on the side, and added the color details, and then I didn't need the lines for it. But it just gives you an idea of another way to use that stamp set. All right, so let's take a look at the colors that I am using this month. And I chose the Stamp Market Rusty, the Melon Orange, the Golden, and then from the Distressed Oxides, I used the Rusty Hinge and the Carved Pumpkin. Just as an aside, in the Creative Kit, there is a small ink cube included of the Rusty Hinge, which was really nice, and it worked really well with that little guy. And then, of course, the VersaFine in black, and a beautiful brown. All right, so let's move on. That is that stamp set. Let's take a look at some of the things that you can do with the 3x4 stamp set that is part of the scrapbooking kit. And also make sure you check out my project videos for the October Glow collection. And I walk through a whole bunch of techniques and ideas on all of the projects that I put together, as well as there's some stamping in there too. So this stamp set has these great little circles. Always a fan of those. And obviously you can stamp those and put the little different icons. There's a pumpkin, a couple leaves, and then a little acorn. And just on their own, those are really, really cute. But then you can kind of keep going, as I said, with the layering. And I say this all of the time, and I think it is so, so important. When you get a stamp set or you get a couple of stamp sets, grab some scrap paper and just have fun. Just grab some colors and just start layering and see what you can come up with. And you'll be surprised at the great combinations that you can create. Don't worry about if you're going to use it, if you're not going to use it. If you mess up, that's the beauty of it. You can just kind of play around and find out what works and what combinations you enjoy. And you come up with some great ideas. Like this one was just kind of completely by playing. I did a bunch of the oak leaves and added the little autumn over top. On this one, you can see where I layered with those circles. I did it off to the side. I layered on top of each other. With that one, I thought that was really cute. And these sayings are really perfect for stacking and combining. So you have the October with the noteworthy little details, and you add the little leaf on the side. You can do the autumn on top of that, or the fall favorites. So any of those will work together. And then you just add some little leaves or some pumpkins. Same idea here. If your space is more vertical as opposed to horizontal, you can do it this way with the leaves going through it. I have the little comfy season layered with the autumn, and I thought that was cute. The little acorn with the oak leaf there with the comfy season. And then using this little line between the autumn stories almost as a continuation with the little leaves there as well. And I thought that was really cute. A couple other things that you can do with this stamp set is you can take that circle and you can stamp it directly onto a photograph. So if you use some Stays-On ink, which you can stamp on a glossy surface like a photograph, it's really neat. If you have a circle shape in a photograph and you kind of want to highlight it, you can use that circle to do that. It's a simple enough design of the circle. It's just the letters that it's not going to take away from your photograph, but it's fun to stamp right on top of it as well. And then I did something similar on here. Let me find where it is. To highlight it, it's not on the picture, but it's on the little vellum pocket. So it highlights it when you put the picture in. And again, it's that circle shape, and that worked out really cute too. All right, let's move on to the 4x6 stamp set. And this is our subscription stamp set. And make sure I've got that in frame for you. Okay. And I love this big background. This is so fun. So there's a number of different ways that you could use this. You could fill an entire background of a page with that. Would be really, really cool. In my project, if you check out the project video, I stamped it in one of the rectangles on one of my planner pages, and just to kind of fill that in and create a pattern. And it works really well to layer. If you do this in a lighter color, then you can again combine and layer those other sayings over top of it. So I did the Welcome Fall with the October mood over top of that golden yellow, and it creates a great background, but it doesn't get too busy. And again, that's because you're layering it with the colors that it's not so heavy. If you did that in a darker color, it would totally be a mess. But if you do it in the lighter color like that, it works really, really well. And then there's some fun leaves in here. They're different in the fact that they're more outlines, they're a little more whimsical than the icon leaves that are in that set. But you can do the same idea as far as layering them with the combinations of the sayings. So I have gather and then gather good moments, and then you have welcome fall with some of the leaves, the October mood, find your quiet. I love that saying, by the way, with the little sprigs or branches. This one I thought was really fun. If you stamp the colors almost kind of dark to light or in a rainbow type of order, then it's kind of fun to have the leaves falling. And they work really well with the little saying where it says where the leaves fall freely. And I think that's really cute. And again, that works really well if you have a vertical space you're trying to put that in. Same idea with the find your quiet and the, I have that here both with the little apple and the little coffee cup. You get more of that vertical. And I love the little coffee cup because there is a tiny little pumpkin and a little coffee bean. So if you want to, you can dress up your little coffee cup with either of those. So you have the little coffee bean or you have the little pumpkin if you're a big pumpkin spice fan. It's kind of fun to do. And I did that here with Savor the Season because this is fall becomes to me, it's, all about baking and cooking and crock pots and soups and chilies and all of those fun things. So I love the idea of adding in something that kind of harkens to food a little bit with the Savor the Season, along with the little apple, which is really cute. And you can do very simple things as well, just the October mood with the two little pumpkins next to it. And then you can expand on that even more by adding the leaves and the coffee cup with it. So it's a super versatile set. Again, I love this background stamp. Putting that on an entire background and layering a photograph over top would be really, really fun. Or even stamping that on some ephemera and layering it would be really neat too. All right, then we kind of are going to combine these two stamp sets with these other stamp sets. So this one, the background, is basically, it is what it is. It's a background stamp. And where did I have? I had a little example of that. It came in the creative kit, and it's just meant just for that, as a background image that you can layer into things. So I've got a little bit here, and I've got some here, and this is in that rusty hinge color. But it's that perfect little bit of texture, without adding any bulk. You can have a little bit of it peek out underneath the photograph. But you can also use it then to layer with any of your other stamps. If you're trying to highlight some journaling or highlight a title, it works really, really well. So I added the autumn here, wander where the leaves fall freely, and you could just keep going and going as far as having that with a saying layered over top of it. You could, and again, you could create an entire background with this. You could do it all in one color. You can do it in variations of color. And this is what I mean by playing. So I started taking this stamp and then inking up half of it with a color and then the other half with another color, or inking partial colors or layering the colors. So again, lots of ways just to play and try the stamps out and get an idea what you want to do on whatever your project is. Then we have this one, which was part of the deluxe journaling kit. And this to me is a great little journaling block. And I feel like, so you could do autumn and then you can mark off one of the either days, goals, thoughts, or blessings. And then you can add just about any one of the sayings layered in there. This one I showed it with the little circle and the leaf. This one I added the background stamp with the gather good moments and the little coffee cup. How cute would that be? You could cut that out and that becomes a whole little journal block, or even like a die cut, which is what I did here. I used it more almost as a title than I did as a journaling block. And I added the little rub-on on there. I cut it out. I stamped it on some ledger pattern paper. Nothing too busy, but just to give it a little bit of a pattern in the background and then added that, raised it with some foam adhesive, and that becomes like almost like a die cut. And a really, really easy thing to layer and tuck in if you're doing junk journaling and things like that as well. All right, next up, and I had so much fun. I've got 2 pages, but I love our Halloween stamp sets, and I love what Liz from Paislee Press did for us with this. And then Leah took this and created our die set, which you can purchase separately. This is not part of the Halloween kit. This is part of the Halloween kit. But if you want to go even a little further, this set will work with this. So just to kind of point out what works with what. So the background of the spider web, this right here, this will work with the spider web. This bat will work with this one. The circle will work with these. And the little ticket will work with those, as well as the moon. And this right here works with the Halloween. The spider and the spider web are completely separate, but they look fantastic when you do them out of black cardstock. How cute is that? I love that. Look at the detail. It's so delicate. So that is a lot of fun. And just to show you how that worked. So the Halloween right there, I cut it out first out of white cardstock with the die, and then stamped the Halloween over top of it. I felt it was just a little bit easier for me to do that. This little spider, I used him all over the place, and I used him on my layout a couple places as well, because he's tiny and he's like the perfect little addition. So let's start with the ticket. So the ticket you can do with the small section on top, with the small section on the bottom. You can run it horizontal. You don't have to run it vertical, but just a couple ways that you can layer in that. Again, combining those sayings, adding the little bats, adding the little spider. See how the little spider comes down? He's so cute. And then the little shadow that will fit behind these little half circles. That worked out really cute. And then I put the little bat in between. I did the boo on that one. And again, mixing your colors. I love to use a lot of black with these. And the VersaFine is the perfect black to use with our stamps because they are very, very detailed. And you get that nice, crisp, clean line when you stamp. So that's the little ticket. So a bunch of ways you can use that. The spider web, you can use just the web, as I did here, or you can do the background with it like I did here and added the yellow background. And of course, our cute little spider, added him on a couple of them. And then you can start combining things as well. So I have the Something Wicked This Way Comes. I put that on there. The boo with the little October 31. I thought that was really cute. And then the moon has the same thing. So you can do the moon in black or in yellow, whatever color you want actually. And then it has this other piece here that is kind of like the, I guess would be the light shining around the moon. And you can add that on there. So you can see where I did that. And then that one was so fun to then add some sayings to. I loved hanging the little spider off the top with the Something Wicked on there. This one I did the This Way to Treats with the tiny little bat. There's a tiny little bat. And then this one I took the Favorite and then Haunts. And these are interchangeable because these are 4 separate stamps. So you can do Favorite Tradition, you can do Halloween Haunts, and so on. Or you can even just use them separately. You don't have to use them together because, again, they're 4 different stamps. But I turned the Favorite Haunts on the side, and they fit within that moon really cute, and then added the little bat. This, I thought the Dark Moon Rising was perfect with that, and then used the two bats. Added the boo and the best costume together, the Halloween spooky mode on, and then added I love that little, like I said, I keep saying that. I love the little spider. He's so cute, just hanging from the little letter there. Then I took just this half circle silhouette and I stamped it together, almost creating like the sun going down, or if you did it in yellow, you could do the moon, and then added the Something Wicked This Way Comes with the little bat. And that, again, that just comes from playing with the stamps. And then on here, you can see where I used the boo in a number of different ways. And I just played. I don't know if I would do the October 31. Probably if I was going to do this combination, I would probably do the boo in a lighter color and the October 31, excuse me, over top in black. I think it might work better that way. I've got with the bats and the Halloween. This would be really cute if you used the die and had that kind of raised up with some foam adhesive. That'd be cool. The boo spooky mood on with the little bats. Boo, the best costume. But then I took that tradition and laid it sideways around it. And I really liked, and again, that just came from playing. I loved how that turned out. So I did it this way as well with This Way to Treats. I thought the combination of that was a really, really neat way to create something with words. I always love creating graphic images with words. That just makes me happy. And then the Halloween, and then this is just kind of layering even more and more. So you've got the Halloween with the Something Wicked, with the date, spider web and the spiders. Halloween, the best costume, with a couple of the bats. I did the witching hour, and it looks like, again, like the sun is going down when all the vampires come out, right? Witching hour with the moon and the little spider, and then the boo, and then I used the half circle haunts with the little, the bat. Trick or Treat, October 31. I thought Hallow's Eve with the dark moon rising and the two bats was really cute. And then the spider web with the Hallow's Eve with the spiders. One thing I wanted to note about our little spider here, if you use a mask, and I've shown you guys how to do that before, you can stamp the little spider on there without that string showing. So you can put him on the web without the little string on there as well. So a bunch of fun ideas on how to do great combinations for fall and for Halloween using all of the stamp sets that we have for our October Glow collection. Make sure you hit like, subscribe, leave a comment. I love to know if you're playing with your stamps. Please let me know that you're doing that and that you're having fun and you're stretching your creative muscles and just playing. Even if you've got 15 minutes, you want to do something creative, take your stamps out and just play. If you got a new stamp set, don't worry about what it has to look like. Just have some fun. So please do that. And again, leave me a comment. Check out my other videos this month, and I will talk to you later.